A lot of you were talking about it was a crazy weekend. We've covered a lot of it. And one of it is, it seemed like every time that you would wake up, power your phone up, turn on the TV, we're shooting something else out of the sky somewhere in North America. And so there's a lot of rumors. What is this? What's going on? And we start thinking, all right, who are some resources that we have? Who are some resources that we have that might be able to shed some light? You gave us Hamcation and the Murmur campaign down there. And, Travis Taylor, who's, we first met him on the show Rocket City Rednecks. And we did a number of shows with him and the other guys. And then, of course, a lot of you are watching him now on Skinwalker Ranch. He's been on, was gracious enough to be on our podcast. Is going to be on the future podcast, too. We're trying to get a date nailed down for that. So Travis has agreed to join us. Travis, welcome back to Rick and Bubba.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Well, Dr. Travis, I know you keep a pretty busy schedule. You got a few things going on, don't you?
Yeah, man. There just is not enough time in the day to do everything that needs to get done.
Prioritize. You got to prioritize, and you're doing that.
Before we get to the meat of what we want to talk about, Skinwalker Ranch, when will the new season of that begin?
Well, they're telling me sometime in April. I don't know the exact date yet. I don't know if they've chosen it, but they keep saying April.
Now you don't have any health problems. You survived, right?
They also told me, yeah, I survived. As far as I know, I'm still alive, but that could just be the ranch playing tricks on me.
I know. So they're telling you April, and but I know you don't want to give everything away, but how can any more things be happening? But I guess if April, yeah.
You guys, I got to tell you. So what they're telling me also is they're going to drop seasons 2 and 3 on Netflix right before season 4 airs on History Channel.
Okay. So we can get fully caught up, and we're pretty caught up because we really went all in.
Oh yeah.
Once because if you watch it started, you're going to go all in. So now, Travis, you know why we're calling you today? Do you have any idea?
About these balloons?
Yeah.
What is going on?
What are we shooting out of the sky? What's going on?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're clearly signals intelligence balloons. What they're doing, you can tell by the way that the payloads look in the pictures they've released, is these systems are there to collect communication signals, record them, and send them back via probably a satellite phone link, if I had my guess. And then they'll have some AI system go through it and find the ones that are of use to them, and then use that to break into systems and hack our communication signals.
So you think
that's my take on it anyway.
So you think all of these are the same? They're foreign intelligence gathering from the Chinese?
Oh, I'm personally, I'm convinced that that's what it is. There's the one thing that scares me the most about it is that it's estimated the payload capacity was 1,000 pounds. You could put a nuke on a system like that, or you could certainly put anything that came out of the Wuhan labs and drop them in canisters across the jet stream and do mass seeding across the country. I don't want to create panic or anything, but this isn't the first time this happened. The Japanese did this in World War II.
Right. Well, were you a little surprised that when the first one appeared, and I don't know that we would even have known about it if the local weekly newspaper up there hadn't taken a picture of it and put it out, were you a little surprised that they let it go across the whole country?
That shocked me a little. I couldn't believe that they allowed it to collect data for that long, because we don't know if they got to find it and get the data off of it, which I doubt. They're uplinking data, so unless we're jamming it and keeping it from sending the data back, they got data all the way across the country.
Yeah.
And Travis, what about for people who are saying, well, whichever government, we're going to assume China, that they have satellites in orbit, they're doing electronic eavesdropping and photography already. Why would they need a balloon?
Yeah.
Well, keep in mind, Bubba, you're a ham operator. You understand that the power from a radio broadcast drops off with a 1 over the square of the distance. Meaning the further away you go, the less energy you get dramatically. And so if a balloon's only 40,000 feet to 100,000 feet above, it doesn't need as much equipment to collect a more powerful signal and get more data. Whereas a satellite, the lowest ones are, they're 200, 300, 400 miles. Some of them are up in 1,000 miles and even higher. And so they have to have much more exquisite equipment, and they don't dwell. They pass over a pastime of a satellite. You guys have gone out at night and looked up at the sky.
Oh, yeah.
It's about, 2 to 3 minutes. The balloon is going to loiter for a very long time up in the upper atmosphere. It's going to just float there and go with the prevailing winds, which, you saw it took all week for it to cross the country.
Right.
It had a whole week to collect data.
Yeah, so you're saying actually these can be more efficient, which is why you probably don't want to let them, because, they didn't think surely they thought eventually we would see them, right? Did they think that it was possible we wouldn't see them?
Well, so here's the thing, and they're making really good use of the stigma that our stupid culture has put around UFOs.
Right.
Because here's the thing, the airlines still tell their pilots not to report seeing a UFO. And airline pilots saw these balloons.
Right.
And now we know from the data that we've gone back and looked through our recorded data that there's been many of these over the country over the last year, and we're just now realizing it. But nobody's reported it, and people saw it.
Travis,
so that was smart on their part. They obviously know that stigma exists.
Travis,
absolutely they do.
I know we have, a defense system that's set up for airplanes coming in, which in the case of defense, bomber planes or missiles, but we're really not set up to detect big balloons floating over, are we?
Well, and not only that, Bubba, we're not set up to shoot them down. That's one of the things I've harped on for about 2 decades, is that we have a region in our atmosphere from about 50 to 60,000 feet up to 100,000 feet, where we don't have defense systems designed to take out assets at that level. So it's real difficult to shoot down one of these things. And that's we have missiles designed to go up through that to space and come back down, but it's not designed to shoot targets in that area. So it's a vulnerability that we've got, and we've just ignored it.
Travis, I know when the ham guys put their balloons up, they are required now to put a piece of reflective material hanging under the payload so they can see it on the radar. So I guess the payloads that they have and the balloon itself are just not picking up on radar, so to speak.
Yeah, they're a really low level when it comes to radar cross section. It's a balloon, latex,
right,
which doesn't reflect any radar, and then electrical components is the only thing that would reflect anything. All the hardware, the structure, they use carbon fiber, like a fishing rod, kind of material, and put it together that way. So there's not enough metal to do much reflecting. The solar panels, if they put them on there, or the batteries, would probably be the most thing you could detect.
Travis, I know when the balloon went down in South Carolina, they announced that the bomb team was going out to get it to begin with or look at it. Is our intelligence on these that they could be armed?
Well, I think what we discovered is that they were set up with munitions to destroy themselves if discovered.
Mm. So it could be dangerous if one goes.
Sure, it could be.
Yeah,
if somebody walked out and found one, they could accidentally set that off. It could be dangerous, absolutely.
So, if they down one and it come floating down in Nebraska somewhere, and somebody goes up to approach it, it could be dangerous.
Absolutely. I'd call authorities because they need to get unexploded ordnance guys to check it first. I would not go and try to grab it and claim it as my own just because it could be dangerous.
Are you surprised that they're not showing us a little bit more of the things that have come down, that it's been kind of hush? The South Carolina one we've had for a while. Seems like they would be telling us a little more about it, don't you think?
No, I don't. There's a thing that I like to tell people, that a secret weapon must be just that, a secret. And even if you have a piece, that's why the whole UFO thing, if I had a UFO, ain't no way I'd tell anybody I had it, because I wouldn't want the UFOs to know that I had it and was reverse engineering it. If as soon as everybody knows about it, then the other side knows about it too. There's an old adage that says something like, you tell the public, you tell the enemy.
So you think, and we're wrapping up, but you think the most plausible deal is the Chinese have put these up, or enemies of our country, because they know that they gather a lot of information for all the reasons you've said. Some has said these others that we shot down over the weekend might be more public relations to try to get our mind off the one they let traverse across our country. Any feeling on that, or do you think it's just more balloons that we're finding?
Well, that's the thing that bothers me. If we're just shooting them down willy-nilly now because of that, then that's not a very good approach. And you're shooting down private assets of folks. Now, you do have to file a flight plan if the payload is more than 5 pounds. So if they don't have a flight plan filed, then, that's on them. They, shoot them down because we don't know what it is.
Yeah. Travis, thanks. I know you got a lot going on. Travis Taylor. And we're looking forward to the next podcast together and the next season of Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, thanks for taking time this morning, Travis, on short notice. We appreciate it.
Oh, hey, no problem, guys. Anytime.
All right, thanks. Travis Taylor giving us a lot of information because you start thinking, well, isn't this stuff outdated? He said, no, it's pretty effective, and even more effective sometimes than satellites. So we'll be right back.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.